Saturday night at Oswego Speedway was Ovarian Cancer Awareness Night, presented by JP Jewelers with the Pathfinder Bank Small Block Supermodifieds and Novella Supermodifieds on hand once again. And here in Small Block Superheat number 1, Josh Kerr and Jack Patrick would lead the field to green with Mike Bond right there in position number 3. But as you can see here, coming out of corner number 2, Kerr gets a touch sideways and then hooks the 74 of Bond, who goes straight into the outside wall and goes up and over. And that 47's Motorsports car number 47. We are fortunate enough to have an in-car replay here from Mike's GoPro camera, and you can see the 8 car just gets a little loose. Mike did his best to try and make his way by on the low side, but the gap cleared pretty quickly, and Mike was unable to make his way by without making contact. The Oswego Speedway track safety crew once again doing a fantastic job. They were at Mike's side in just a matter of seconds to get that car raised up and get Mike out from behind the wheel. Bond was A-OK. In fact, by the end of the heat racing action for both the small blocks and super modifieds, he was able to get back on track, run a few laps with that race car, and would be able to start the main event. Once they got back underway, Jack Patrick would restart on the pole position with Anthony Lacerdo and J.J. Andrews hot on his heels down the back straightaway. Patrick would jump out into the race lead in the Longley Dodge car number 9, and with the white flag in the air, Patrick in the 9, Lacerdo in the 1, they would run away from the field. Patrick would cross the stripe for heat race win number 1 in the SBS series. Lacerdo in second, Andrews would come home in third. A great battle for the 4th and final handicap spot would see Mike Bruce in the 22 edge out Danny Apt in car number 57. Small block heat race number 2 saw Dennis Rupert and Dalton Doyle in the 01 car start up there in row number 1. Rupert pushes a little bit high into corner number 1, barely gets into the side of the 04 of Craig Harrith as they file down the backstretch ahead of Andrew Schartner, as well as the 67 of Dave Cliff back there as well. Doyle would have control of this one early on. The battle was further back between Harrith, Schartner, and Simmons. As you see Schartner working the outside in the Chrome Motorsports car number 18, he was able to get to the top side and get that spot away from Harrith to move up just one more position. Doyle, running laps of 19.3 seconds, would run away and hide here in SBS qualifying heat race number 2, going on to the victory by a full straightaway over the 18 of Schartner, the 04 of Harrith, the 98 of Simmons, the 67 of Dave Cliff, and the 99 of Dennis Rupert. SBS qualifying heat race number 3 would see Timmy Guru, John Tesserario, AJ Burness, and Rob Pullen up there in the front 2 rows, with Guru in the TNT Motorsports car number 17 darting out into the early race lead over Tesserario in car number 47. The battle at the front would get just a little too close here. Coming out of corner number 4 as the 2 cars make contact, Guru goes around collecting the 14 of Pitcher and the 3 of Chris Proud. Tesserario would be penalized, had to go to the rear of the field. That would hand the lead over the 2 of Robbie Pullen, and he would go on to lead the remainder of this one in the Pullen's Plumbing and Heating FFB Chassis Deuce. Pullen gets the win over Burness, Russ Brown, the 14 of Pitcher, and the 3 of Proud, and qualifying heat number 3 for the SBS division. 3 qualifying heat races would next be on tap for the Novella Super Modifieds, with Michael Barnes in the Strong Racing 99 and Michael Muldoon in the Muldoon Racing car number 51 starting up there in row number 1, with Bellinger, Danny Connors, Clayton Brewer, and Pat Lavery back there in positions 5 and 6. As Muldoon would tuck into line early on behind the number 99 of Barnes, but trouble would strike here at lap number 6. The 83 of Lou LeVay Jr., we believe he blew a tire on that machine, sending him directly into the outside steel. LeVay would be okay, but he would obviously be done for the night in this one. As heat race number 1 got back underway, Barnes in the 99 would run away with qualifying heat race number 1 as he takes the win over Muldoon, Bellinger, and Danny Connors. Qualifying heat race number 2 for the Super Modified, Sean Goslin and Timmy Snyder up there in row number 1, Brian Sweeney and Bobby Haynes Jr. in the 44 to the outside of row number 2. Making the move to the low side, that's the number 21. Once again, not Cody Graham, it's Ray Graham once again behind the wheel of that race car as they dive down into corner number 3. Goslin would jump out in front early on, gain about a 3 or 4 car length advantage on Snyder as the Zero Hero pushes a little bit high in corner number 1. That allows Sweeney to move up alongside and by into the runner-up spot in car number 3. And Sweeney was able to chase down your race leader Goslin in the closing stages, but with the checkered flag in the air, the win would go to the Green's Ale House, car number 26. Goslin the victor, Sweeney in second, Snyder in third, Ray Graham in fourth, driving the number 21 machine. Third and final qualifying heat race of the night for the Novellis Super Modified saw Timmy Devendorf and Dave Danzer in that front row spot. Devendorf in the 5, didn't get a very good start. That allowed Danzer to jump out into the early race lead. Curran would move up into the runner-up spot in car number 24, and Dave Gruhl eventually would find the high side of the speedway, coming out of corner number 4 to slip on by the 5 machine to move into position number 3 as they do battle ahead of the 00 of Joe Gozik. But out in front, it would be all Dave Danzer here in Super Modified Heat Race number 3 as he puts a lap on the 14 of Joe Chalemi. Danzer gets the win. Curran comes across the stripe in second. They were about a straightaway ahead of Gruhl, who came across in third, ahead of Devendorf in fourth. And Gosick rounds out the top 5. Main event highlights coming up next on Inside Oswego Speedway. The countdown to Budweiser Classic Week is on at Oswego Speedway. Saturday, August 17th, it's Bosco and Gears Food Market, Oswego County Federal Credit Union night at the races. Don't miss the final night of racing before Budweiser International Classic Weekend. Kickstart Classic Weekend with Oswego Bike Fest, August 23rd through the 26th. It's Bosco and Gears Oswego County Federal Credit Union night at the Speedway this Saturday. Inside Oswego Speedway is brought to you by Novellis. Not just aluminum, Novellis aluminum. Pathfinder Bank, local community trust. Eagle Beverage, we bring the beer to you. Oswego Bike Fest, riding, rocking, and racing Oswego Speedway. And by Best Western Plus Quality Inn and Suites of Oswego. The 30-lap Pathfinder Bank SBS main event on Saturday night, presented by JP Jewelers, would see Jack Patrick in the number 9 and Dalton Doyle in the 01 start from row number 1, but we would have trouble right from the drop of the green as an issue unfolds on the left rear of the number 99 of Dennis Rupert. Cuts the tire down on that machine as he would spin to a stop to the outside steel in corner number 1, and that would force a complete restart at the front of this one. Patrick got the early nod on the first start, but this time it was Doyle from the outside of row number 1 darting out into the early race lead, with Patrick filing into second, AJ Burness, Rob Pullen, Craig Harris now moving to the inside of Anthony Lacerdo, who got shuffled to the top side early on in this one. Just a lap or so in, we would run into more trouble, this time coming out of corner number 2, as Timmy Garou, Scott Schaefer, and Mike Bond all get tangled out of that second corner on the replay. You can see Chris Proud was actually involved as well in the Proud Motorsports number 3, but he was able to pull away. Bond and Schaefer would rejoin the field. Garou would be done for the night. On the restart, Rob Pullen was able to find the low side on AJ Burness, heading down the back straightaway. Pullen would move up into position number 3 early on in this one, trying to give chase to your race leaders Doyle and Patrick, but that proved to be a very tall task. Later on, Jason Simmons tries to find the high side on Harris going into corner number 3. That leaves the low lane open for Lacerdo in the 1, and Russ Brown in car number 13 as they shuffle Simmons back 2 more spots in the DNS Landscaping car number 98 as Lacerdo now draws right onto the back bumper of the Harris 04. Well, Russ Brown would not stop there, next moving to the outside of the speedway, again going into corner number 3 on Lacerdo in car number 1. Brownie able to make that spot stick, going down the front stretch and into corner number 1. Simmons would once again try it in the 98, but was unable to make the move happen. Out in front, Doyle and Patrick pulling away from the field. Pullen and Burness running 3rd and 4th all on their own. But Russ Brown eventually would catch up to Burness, who began to lose a little bit as Anthony Lacerdo also finds the inside lane on Harris going into corner number 1. The rookie Lacerdo had a second place finish a few weeks ago, now looking to try and battle his way back into the top 5 after losing some spots early on. Well, he was trying to take notes from Russ Brown in this one as Brownie pulls to the low side on Burness going into corner number 3 to move up into 4th. Lacerdo would follow suit Coming out of corner number 4 in the HRW Construction number 1 machine, now up and into the top 5, following Brown back through the field. Meanwhile, out in front, it was all Dalton Doyle and Jack Patrick showing the way, each running lap times in the 19.4 second bracket. Patrick trying to work his way by as they run by the lap car of Greg O'Connor, here to get the white flag. Patrick moved up to the high side, darted down to the low side, and finally, on lap number 29, Patrick was able to make the low side pass stick. Going into the first corner, he only led one lap, but it was the only lap that mattered. Jack Patrick in the Longley Dodge Red Baron Pizza car number 9 comes out of corner number 4 and gets his first win of the 2013 season, his 4th career victory, coming over Dalton Doyle, Rob Pollard, Russ Brown, and Anthony Lacerda in the top 5. A.J. Burness, Jason Simmons, Andrew Shartner, Craig Harris, and J.J. Andrews would round out your top 10 on Saturday night at Oswego Speedway as Patrick comes out from behind the wheel in Turning Stone Resort Casino, Victory Lane.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's been a tough year for us this year, and I got to thank my sponsors, Longley Dodge, Van Loo Septic, Red Baron Pizza, Uniforms, etc., Jody, Don, Rusty, Karen, for all their help. It's been a tough year. I was good on the long run, but I couldn't do much on the restarts, and Dalton was getting a little loose there, and I knew if I got close to him, I could have a chance. And, well, Dalton was pretty good off of 2, but he kept getting a little bit loose off of 4, and I knew if I was going to have a chance, I had to try to slingshot him off of 4, and I set him up perfect on that last lap for that, and unbelievable.
Yeah, I didn't know he was back there for the majority of the race, and all of a sudden I just felt him kind of on my rear bumper probably 5 laps ago, and I don't know if I started overdriving the car or not, but we got to that lap car, and I thought the way I got around him down the straightaway, I figured he was maybe going to get held up in the corner. Next thing you know, I see him peek his nose in down the front stretch. He must have got a good run off the top. He got me. He ran a good, clean race, and good for him because he's had a worse season than I have by far. So.
Yeah, it's getting a lot better. We had to do some adjustments, but last week bring home one piece and it makes it easier to get him better. All these guys started to pull away from me. They had really good cars tonight. My car is the best it's been in a long time, but I don't think I had anything for them, maybe on a restart, but once they got going, they pulled right away.
Despite rolling over in his heat race, Mike Bond would come on to be the DNS Landscaping Hard Charger Award winner on Saturday night. Anthony Lacerda, once again, the Nice Price Auto Sales up-and-comer, while Russ Brown collected the White's Car Care 4th place award, and Dalton Doyle, leading 29 of the 30 laps, was your Sherwood Racing Wheels Lap Leader Award winner. Looking now at the standings with only 2 events remaining in the season, Brown has a 53-point advantage on Jason Simmons in the runner-up spot. Mike Bond rides in 3rd, 71 points behind, while J.J. Andrews and Craig Harris are in a tie in 5th. The countdown to Budweiser Classic Week is on at Oswego Speedway. Kickstart the racing with Oswego Bike Fest, August 23rd through the 26th. 3 full days of music, motorcycles, and more, featuring Bolly Hatchet on Saturday, all for just $15. For more information, including charity bike rides, visit OswegoBikeFest.com. Come back and join us August 28th through September 1st for Budweiser International Classic Weekend at Oswego Speedway. Inside Oswego Speedway is brought to you by Novelis. Not just aluminum, Novelis aluminum. Pathfinder Bank, local community trust. Eagle Beverage, we bring the beer to you. Oswego Bike Fest, riding, rocking, and racing Oswego Speedway. And by Best Western Plus Quality Inn and Suites of Oswego. Saturday night's 50-lap Novelis Super Modified main event saw heat race winners Michael Barnes and Sean Goslin start from up there in row number 1, and it would be Goslin from the outside of the speedway, jumping out into the early race lead ahead of Barnes, Michael Muldoon, Dave Danzer, and Tim Devendorf in the top 5 early on as they stream down into corner number 3. On lap 7, though, your championship point leader Otto Sitterly would run into trouble A rear end piece breaking, sliding the rear end over, the right rear tire began to rub, and unfortunately that tire would blow out on Sitterly coming out of the fourth corner, ending his day as he tagged the outside steel on the front stretch. Once racing got back underway, it would be Goslin and Barnes checking out in front with Muldoon and Danzer in tow, their third and fourth, and Goslin and Barnes would battle for the lead nearly every lap throughout the early portions of this event, with Goslin slipping up just a little bit here in corners number 1 and 2. Barnes trying to look to the low side. He would finally get the bite he needed coming out of corner number 4 in lap traffic. But watch Goslin battle back on the outside of the speedway. The 26 and the 99 would do this for about 2 consecutive laps. Goslin goes way high into the third corner, somehow is able to hang on to that machine and drive back by Barnes on the outside in lap traffic as they lap Clayton Brewer, Tony Steiner, and Lou LeVay Sr. Barnes able to make his way through as well. Muldoon and Danzer would do a good job on the high side of the speedway as well, clearing lap traffic. Well, Goslin and Barnes would again check out until they caught traffic one more time. This time, the 66 of LeVay, once again the 02 of Brandon Bellinger. Barnes continuing to try to work the low side of the speedway, but unable to make it work as Goslin is able to make quick work of traffic on the top side. Well, with 8 laps remaining, we'd have an incident coming out of corner number 2 as the 22 of Lavery and the 0 of Snyder get together, collecting the 5 of Devendorf, the 3 of Sweeney, and the 23 of Brewer. You get another look at the replay here coming out of corner number 2. Snyder goes around, blocking the racetrack out of that second corner, collecting 3 or 4 different race cars. Well, that would help Goslin in traffic. However, it would set up a restart. And Barnes again able to find the low side going into corner number 1, but the 2 cars would touch. Goslin somehow able to keep that car going. Barnes goes completely around, collects the 01 of Connors and the 02 of Bellinger. Barnes would be done for the night. Muldoon and Gosick would get their positions back on the racetrack. Dave Danzer headed to pit lane to make repairs. Well, Goslin would jump back out into the lead. Gosick, with that damaged front wing, was able to make his way out and around Muldoon to get up into the runner-up position as they charge down the back straightaway and into corner number 3 as Gruhl, Lavery, Danzer, and Connors all go at it for 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th coming out of corner number 4. Well, Gosick here in the final 7 laps was able to chase down Goslin in the remainder of this event, but he was unable to make a move stick in the late going as Sean Goslin comes out of corner number 4 for his first career super modified main event win at Oswego Speedway over Gosick in second, Muldoon in third. Gruhl would hang on to 4th ahead of Pat Lavery. Rounding out the top 5, Danzer did a good job to battle back for a 6th place finish. As Goslin comes down into Turning Stone Resort Casino Victory Lane, he chatted with Keith Zare on his first career win.
The red flags, I don't know. Just trying not to think about, what was going on, what we had to do. But, man, I know it sucks when the person who starts on the pole wins, but, geez, that was awesome. The crew guys needed this more than anything. They had to change the motor the last 2 weeks, and it's been working their butts off, nonstop. And I can't believe it. This isn't going to still get in for a while. This is crazy. Yeah, lap traffic, they're all racing per position. For the most part, it was all right. I don't know what would have happened there when that first red flag came out. I really hate trying to pass the 02 car. But other than that, I hope it was a good show for the fans. That's why we're here, so hope it was good. I don't know. I saw him at the very last second, and, that's just the nature of this kind of racing with the inside hub rail. I don't know whose fault it was, or if it was anyone's fault, or if it was just one of those racing deals. But I love racing with Mikey Barnes. He's a great driver. I think he's one of the best drivers out here. So, absolutely no complaints from me. But, just a racing deal.
All kinds of stuff happened. I got in the one there trying to avoid it, but the car was good early, and then it went away, and then had a couple cautions where we got another opportunity, and another wreck, and end up second. So it's all right. Some of these guys are catching on to my move on the restarts there. Sean kind of hung his tail high going into one. That takes away that outside move I got Michael with. Once Michael settles in low, I can run up on the outside, but Sean didn't do that.
The car was really good for the first 44, but the last 6, it was
probably the worst car I've ever had. The tires were just bouncing on the straightaways. I could barely even touch the gas. I was sideways down the straightaway, so it was a handful. First of all, I got to thank my sponsors, Top Quality Construction, All Car Care Auto, Okino's Auto Sales, and Sandy's Bumper Mart. And I want to thank all my crew and my dad for getting me here.
With Sitterly's issues and Go 6 runner-up finish, Double O Joe now retakes the point lead. He's got a 7-point edge over Sitterly, setting up what should be a tremendous battle over the final two events and the road to the championship.